Hello and welcome. In this video, I will showcase my hunter slash bowman. I already did a video about the bowman, but since then a lot have changed. We have a new level cap, new specializations, new perks, and well, new weapons, new oils, etc. etc. And that's why I created this video. So for the specialization, we start with that one first. It's pretty obvious. We choose Valorous Victory for the easy Valor point generation. We choose Hunter because we can kill more than one enemy with this spell. Infantryman is too slow. Beastmaster is meh. I will try this one with the new beasts from the new Hunt DLC, but for now, the Hunter is the most impressive class. This new class unlocked by level 15 is not that great actually, because this one is all about that enemies already have played their turn, which is not what we want at all. So the Hunter is still the best class in my opinion. For the level 5 perk, we choose Precision. Every 2 attacks applies vulnerability and you gain Fury. Well, the vulnerability is not really important except you fight heavy bullet sponges like the boss or the beast boss in the new DLC. But the Fury is a nice 50% damage increase, which can be procced basically with every skill we use. So these 2 attacks actually synergize with the Hunter spell, Recoil Shot. So when we hit 2 enemies, it's count as two attacks. For the level 8 perk, we have Bullseye. This one is actually from the new class that's unlockable at level 15. So this build only works if you have at least one bowman at level 15. Yeah, Bullseye gives us Fit for Rage, which is 10% critical damage because we get 2 of them. Yeah, for the rest of the battle. This one is basically the Pirate's Lucky Charm on steroids, which is crazy because we always crit. We have over 100% critical hit. You can see it right here. We have a pretty high base value. Then we get from the food, from the path buff, from our equipment, and from one of the traits. We reach 100 pretty easy. So this one boosts our damage. And then we have Lone Wolf, which just is another 10% damage increase. We have the Bravery skill, which is absurdly powerful in this build. Yeah, this does nothing, it just unlocks the class. Okay, now let's talk about the weaponry and the equipment. For the base armor, I go for the light armor version from the guard. And the reason is pretty simple, it gives range. Range is nice for a bowman because we have the piercing arrow and the recoil shot, which, well, pierce through enemies, and if you increase your range, you can pierce more enemies. That's that simple. Yeah. We use the critical hit increasing armor layers and also a dexterity armor layer. I have to say the Sabertooth brush is actually the better version because it reduces guard instead of movement, which is nice. So the Skullmail DLC, where you can find the Sabertooth brush, is basically uh, yeah, a power creep version of the other one from the Balerian DLC. For the helm stamp, I choose the stimulating coating. This one increases the damage by 20% if we have no debuff. This is always the case. This one is just 20% damage increase. Since we open up our fight with the bowman, there's no way we have a debuff at that point. The only way would be if we are surprised attack, but this will also not happen. Yeah, so 20% damage from the stimulated coating. The weapon. Yeah, we use this weapon, it's the legendary weapon. I tell you the loot spot in the description of this video. Well, we have the piercing shot. We can pierce through enemies, and when we crit, the enemies get knocked back and lose 10% of their life, which is great against bears actually because they can survive with 0 HP and then they get knocked back and die anyway. Pretty nice. We also always crit, so we have the knockback all the time. For the oils, I choose the sharpening oil and the perforating oil. The sharpening oil is 10% more crit damage, and the perforating oil is, yeah, well, it takes ignore 50% of enemy guard. It's pretty nice against the the defenders and the footmans from the guard. But this build is actually strong enough that I tried to make yeah the murky oil work. I switched the murky oil for the 10% critical damage because we have enough damage. You will see this in the combat. We have enough damage, and I really want to make the murky oil work, but in my current testing, you can't really see any difference. But I really want to see at least one time the ricochet of the attack. Yeah. Backpack accessory is irrelevant. For the belt accessory, I have this one, the homemade tonic. It's from the Pits DLC, I think. This one gives you at the start of the turn inspiration and fury, and is, in my opinion, the best belt gear. Well, one of the best belt gears you can equip. The inspiration doubles your movement, and the fury gives 50% extra damage for your next attack. Yeah, you can see I have a movement of 40 right now. It's currently from, well, the equipment and the food, but also I already have equipped the inspiration buff. Thanks to some equipment in my camp, which gives one-time buffs, and one of them is movement or something. Now we have traits. Because the thing is, the traits are also quite important. We have basically the God Recruit with Solitary and Nimble. So we have the base attribute or the main attribute by 5% increased, and we have 10% if we are not next to an ally in combat, which is pretty nice. You can see right here that the Nimble trait gives us basically 10 points of dexterity. But the more important one is the Sociopath. So the Sociopath gives us 5% for each negative relationship. And as you can see here, I have 16 negative relationships. Yep, that's a lot of percentages. I mainly use my working ponies to be the bad relationship because why not? And it's also the reason why I have a lot of animals just sitting around to to have a bad relationship. So this one just boosts up the sociopath damage. Oh, yeah. Sadly, it does not show you the amount of damage currently, but you can calculate by yourself. 16 times 5. That's the amount of bonus damage you get. Yeah, obviously all the special abilities from the books. Nothing important here, but yeah, for the skill, I focus on reaching 15 at willpower. You can see right here, you get from additional sources also willpower, so you don't really have to spend it. But yeah, movement is quite important. And then critical hit, obviously, to reach the breakpoint. And you can also spend a little bit at dexterity. Now the food buffs. As you can see, I will boost my stats with food. So the food that I use is written down here. I increase my constitution, critical damage, movement, strength, critical hit, dexterity, and also a special fruit from the Tavern DLC, which gives one rage whenever we perform an attack, which caps at 50%, but it's basically 50% extra damage from this food. That's actually all. That's the build. For the job, I currently have the Huntsman because I train it, but if you have trouble reaching the critical hit, you can choose the Tinkerer. Um, and if you want more dexterity, obviously the Alchemist or the Thief as in between. But I prefer the Alchemist because 10 dexterity points is just the best bang for the buck. This one maxed out would be 12%, I think. 12%. Let me check. Yeah, 12% critical hit if you need it. But the armor layers already provide 30%, so yeah. Okay, so now let's check the combat. I already prepared something. Obviously, we play on the extreme difficulty. Yeah. I prepared something. Just that you don't see me shoveling around all my enemies, all my troops. Okay, so we have the guy here with the equipment. First, we will open up with the suppressive fire, the bravery skill. And now you can see the range of this skill. Look at that. Look at that beautiful range. That's insane, right? That's an insane range. Okay, let's see. We will kill all of these one. Boom. Dead. You can see all the buffs we currently receiving. These fit for rage is crazy from the perk. 5% damage increase, critical damage increase for each attack. So if you look at it right here, we have currently 263, which is insane. Okay, let's move here. Also, we activated Fury from our other perk. Okay, let's say... let's move here and... yeah, why not? Shoot all of these ones. Look at that, 12,000, 14,000 damage. I really wish they would be a little bit closer. Ah, shoot. Oh, wait. Maybe we can get a little bit. Yeah, baby. Look at that. They die. Yeah, sadly, we did not trigger any ricochet effect from the murky oil, which is sad. But you can see the tremendous amount of damage you can deal. What a devastating blow. And we currently have now 350-ish critical hit. Wow, a lot of damage. Okay, sadly, the bowman has no other way to deal more damage, so oh, look at that movement. I love high mobility. And that's it. My ultimate killing machine bowman. Updated version. See you in the next one.